Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I came on here to do a full moon reading, which I really would like to lay out a spread and just do a card reading for it. But as I'm gearing up here and as I'm getting ready, there's the guidance and the energy that's present is telling me that the most important thing to talk about that the full moon is bringing to light right now is the need to keep up appearances. There's something about needing to look a certain way or to appear a certain way or to avoid judgment, because the way that you really are in this moment, you judge yourself for, you want to make it look like you got your shit together. Really, you're hurting underneath. 404 on my clock as I say that. And there's something missing. There's something missing. There's kind of a void that you're trying to fill. There's something about just keeping up appearances and wanting things to look a certain way in order for you to believe that it is that way, you know? But the truth of it, there's an underlying energy that needs to be released. It's not that you're moving forward, you're actually still stuck within that energy by ignoring it, by not addressing it. Everybody can see right through you anyway. People can feel you anyway. So as good as it feels to focus on other things and to create movement and do some other things, there's this fear of judgment and there's self-doubt that is needing to be let go of. The fear in relation to all of that. The full moon is helping to bring that to light. And I say that because they're talking to me. They're talking through me. They're talking to me. And telling me to just kind of come out with it. It's like I want to do. It's like normal people, normal readers do on here and just pull a spread. People just want a spread. They just want you to read the cards for their energy, and I compare myself to other readers on here, and I want to create. I really want to create flow and a business around giving you guys what you want. But they're telling me too that sometimes what you need is more of, there are those readers out there, and what you need is me, and you need the way that I do things. And the way that I do things is just more on a personal level, and I relay the messages through my own experience and through my expression and just revealing myself and exposing myself, and so I can read for other people, but a lot of times the message, you resonate with it a little bit more when I just bring it back into myself and I say, I hear them, that they're talking to me and they're telling me that it's not that I'm it's not that I'm doing that I'm keeping up appearances, that I'm not being real. I am trying to create momentum. I'm trying to follow my intuition. I'm trying to do what feels good, and reading cards for me feels really good. But part of that now is coming to a point where I only want to do what feels good, and leaning into the heavier emotions and revealing those heavier emotions, letting them be seen, is scary. It doesn't necessarily feel good to me. It's scary I know that it will feel good when I have released it and when I've taken whatever mask on I have on off, 505 on my recording. But it feels scary to be seen, for in a vulnerable state. That's one of my hardest things when I come on here to the channel. It's really hard to be vulnerable. And I know that there's such a lesson in that, and I know that I need to lead by example, and so I do that, and I'm doing that. But part of it is admitting that it's terrifying to come on here and to really tell you guys about the stuff that I've been going through in the last couple of months. And I've known that I've needed to make this video. And I know that I wasn't ready before this. And I didn't even realize that I was ready for it until now, until they're showing me all of this stuff and kind of exempling it to me. But the fear and the self-doubt is what I'm needing to release in the full moon. So this full moon reading is going to be a reading through, I'm the tarot card. I'm the card right here. I'm the high priestess, or I'm the tarot card. So we're just gonna read my energy, and I'm gonna just reveal myself. So the last time that I was in England, at the end of May, Lynn and I had a really amazing time. We had a really amazing, 5 days together in the beginning, and there was just such flow and such harmony and openness, and then there was an energy that started to come out in the full moon then. That's no coincidence. It was a full moon eclipse at the time, and it was right at the very beginning of Mercury retrograde. And there was subconscious energy that was coming up, and we were looking at a situation in his life that he had been talking about, and he was telling me about it, and I was thinking, it sounds a little bit like, let's look at this from a different angle. That feels a little bit like it was a little bit harsher. It was a little bit, there's a little bit of trauma to that maybe he didn't realize that it was at the time. And we were looking at it like, okay, what are we really talking about here? What is it that you actually experienced in that? Because it feels like it, there's a little, you're kind of taken advantage of, and I won't go into it that much at all, because that's his situation and his to reveal. But what it did was, as we work through it, we kind of settled in with what that was for him, and then there's always a mirror for it. So he said, what's that mirror for you? What is that for you? And I said, well, I'm not sure. And then all of a sudden I started getting all of these memories come back about this specific situation with the person that I was with at the time, and it was connected to a little bit of like sexual situations, and I was thinking, like, that's interesting. Now that I look at it, now that I am letting myself look at it from the outside, that I cried after that one, and that person was like really rough with me, and then I thought to another situation, and I was like, that person was a little bit rough with me too, and it made me feel really uncomfortable at the time, and then it was just this string of just going back between the different relationships and the different experiences that I had, and they were showing me one thing right after another about situations that were showing me a pattern. They were showing me a pattern. And at the time, we were both kind of numb about it. We were both sitting there like, is it weird that we're not emotional about it right now? It just feels like, okay, I've seen it, I saw it. It's either that we already dealt with the emotions about any kind of trauma in our subconscious, or it's going to hit us later. And so So throughout the rest of the trip, it definitely felt like there was something there. I could feel some resistance in me to that thing. I could feel it coming, and it's almost like I was bracing for it. And when my inner child does that, she kind of blocks off a little bit. She goes into protection mode, and that causes a little bit of resistance between he and I could feel that. And I knew it wasn't about he and I knew that it was something within me. It was still a really amazing trip, and I didn't want to leave there, and it was like the best 2 weeks of my life. But then I came back here, and I had my kids for the entire week because I had been gone for so long. And so it's not that I could even just sit and focus on what this thing was that was coming up. I couldn't meditate. I was meditating, and I was doing my energy work the way that I need to, but I was really focused on my kids too, and they got sick that week too, so I was spending a lot of time taking care of them, and we were watching TV and just resting. And I know now, looking back on it, that that's exactly what needed to happen. I just needed to rest and not super, super, super focus on it. There's no way that I could have received all of the information of this all at once. It was started to be revealed to me a little bit at a time all week long, 11:22 on my recording. We were watching movies, and I would get little hints, little intuitive hits from the movie, and it was like geared towards me. And I was like, I feel like that is connected to this thing that I feel coming up. And it was more than just those situations that I had been shown while I was there. It was leading me to the memories of something that happened to me. And I knew that that's what was coming out. It was revealed to me in little tiny ways all week long. And then it was something that my daughter said that I was like, wait, what did you say? And she doesn't know that she's giving me a message, or that she's reflecting whatever it is that's speaking from my subconscious. There's my inner child, or my inner 17-year-old, or whatever it is that's talking to me, and she's kind of relaying the message. And I'm tuned into this, and I know that everything's connected. And I'm filing it away, but then I'm distracted, and I'm taking care of them, and it was just little bits at a time. And then I woke up one morning, and I literally felt sedated. I felt drugged, and I had gotten plenty of sleep. I wasn't sick. I felt fine. And my daughter was trying to wake me up. She was trying to lift my arm up, and it was just like flapping. And I had this experience. It was just like, I feel sedated right now. I feel like I'm drugged. What is going on? It was so weird. And at the time, right at that moment, as I was waking up, Lloyd called me. And by accident, he must have butt dialed me, but nothing is by accident. And he knew that I was going through all of this, and that something was coming up, something was being revealed. And he was like, why am I calling you? What's going on? Is something going on? Like, spirit brought us together? And I was like, babe, I feel like I'm in another dimension right now. I feel like I'm drugged right now. It's so weird. And it's as if I was immersed in this experience. And he was like, this is connected to what we've been talking about, right? I was like, it's so scary. And, it was so hard for me to process too. I was a little bit numb to it. I was just like, I was almost shell shocked by all of this stuff all the information that I was receiving. And by the end of the week, both of my daughters had gotten sick, and I ended up being a little bit sick after that too, and just needing to rest. And I know that Spirit put me in that position in order for me to be able to receive what it is that I was receiving, and allow this subconscious to come into my consciousness. That's what it was doing. And after my girls left, it almost hit me like full force, because then I had the time and the space to be there with myself, and just all of a sudden it hit me. And I realized that, and I had mentioned something to Lloyd maybe a year and a half before that. I just said in passing, I don't even know where it came from, that I feel like freshman year of college, something may have happened to me. It's just like this passing thought. And I didn't have any, solid memories of it, or it was like, it's just in passing. I couldn't attach to it because there was hardly anything there, and it's just like, I don't know. It'll come up when it needs to come up, right? So as this all was coming up, that thing that I had said just kept coming back to me, kept coming back to me. It's like my inner child, my inner 18-year-old was talking to me, saying something happened to us, and it's time for us to see it. It's like she was trying to anchor back into my body, and the disassociation that you experience during a trauma, at some point we have to come back down into our body, and this was the process of me coming back down into my body and reassociating with what had happened. And it's like a soul retrieval, that piece of my soul that's separated out from me in order to protect my psyche from what had happened, because I'm at a state where I'm strong enough to handle it, that I'm at a high enough consciousness that I can allow these intuitive messages to come in to show me the full picture of it. I don't have specific memories of the entire thing that happened, but I have intuitive knowing. My body is speaking to me, and I had trust in myself enough that that because of all of the work that I've done on my journey to heal myself and to bring myself to a place of that confidence in my feminine, in my intuition, I was ready to start to see this stuff. And so what was revealed to me was that I was raped. That I was drugged and raped my freshman year. By a couple different people. And even just saying it out loud and just being with it and connecting with that part of me, that 18-year-old me, is enough to take me out of victim mode and to keep it from being in the dark and controlling me and creating patterns in my life and taking advantage of me without me knowing it, and brings it here, and it empowers me to say, this is part of my human experience, and this thing happened. And now we need to look at it and heal it and be with it and be with that 18-year-old. And really connect with other people, to not feel so secretly alone anymore, to not feel in the dark anymore. There's this part of me, this part of my soul that has felt alone for so long because she was sitting literally in the dark. She had disassociated from it, and I was drugged at the time. And so, there was only so much that I could see about it. And so just bringing it to my awareness now shows me the pattern of so much in my life. Makes so much sense after that, because of that experience. It was like I was frozen, and it's connected to, it's like a part of me was frozen in time right there. And it was, right when you're meant to be exploring who you are as an adult and learning the things that you need to learn to take care of yourself and to, start leaning towards a career and bringing yourself out into the world in a certain way. And it's like I was stuck in that freshman year of college, and I failed out that year. Never really went back into it. My ADD went just completely bonkers that year. It makes so much sense. It's like there was this huge thing that was taking up all of my processor, is what I hear, this processing space. But that part of me was also, disconnected from me. It was like way back here in the background, draining me and draining me and draining me. And I was trying to focus on all of these other things, and it was almost impossible because there was this big thing that was there. It's like this section of my brain was disconnected from me. It's like I lost part of my processing ability when that happened. And it's like I got stuck right when. And since then, it's like I've never really been able to create a career. I've never been able to know what I wanted to do. I never knew what I wanted to do when I was grown up, and always, it's like I never knew how to take care of myself. And it's not like I didn't know how to take care of myself, but after that, it was like I was always kind of dependent on someone else I ended up dependent on someone else to take care of me, for money. I didn't know my worth. I wasn't able to feel into and see my own worth because I felt worthless. Because that girl felt used, taken advantage of, secretly taken advantage of, and felt like nothing, felt worthless. Since then, I've had some memories of some of the things that were said to me during this incident, and it's like this voice in my ear that says, "You're just a piece of meat, you're just worthless," and owned, used. And it's this secret voice that just keeps speaking to me and just keeps speaking to me, and that 18-year-old didn't know enough to know that it wasn't hers, that it wasn't about her, that it was about him, that it was his pain that he passed on to me, that it was the voice of his dad saying those things to him, that it was the voice of privilege and money and distorted power. I was shown that, it was an upscale college. It was a small private college, and this person came from money. His family came from money, and his father drew his power off of the money that he made. And so there was this entitled, I can take whatever I want because I have money, that was passed on to him, that he passed on to me. And she just didn't know any better. She didn't know any better. And she was so just ashamed. She couldn't believe that. She was just really ashamed. And hid her shame. She hid it from me. I didn't even know. And it's so disorienting now. But it's I can see how it works. I can see the connectivity of it. It's like I was immersed in the experience as if it just happened to me. It was like 20 years ago, 25 years ago that it happened. But that's what happens when you reassociate with your body again. It's almost like she was sick of being alone, and it was time for me to really see her. And she brought herself here, and she's so brave to allow me to see her. And so she, reassociated with me, and that's why. And the way that happens is it's like a piece of my soul came back home again, and in order for me to be able to see that, she had to kind of possess me again, and I had to allow myself to see it through her eyes. And but it causes this disorientation. It's almost like PTSD, and I've been experiencing everything that she went through or secretly went through, and these feelings of shame and these feelings of not wanting to live, not wanting to feel those things about herself, and not wanting to. She just felt like such shame and needed to hide and needed to hide, and each time I would get close to it, she would feel like every time I would get closer to being my authentic self and revealing myself meant revealing her too, and she was terrified of that. She wasn't ready, she wasn't ready, she wasn't ready. And I've seen the pattern of how that started to come out and how I would start to come into my power, and every time I would create any kind of momentum for myself in digging into my intuition and really like learning about my gifts and like trying to create momentum towards what it is that I'm supposed to do in my life, she would hold me back because she wasn't ready. What I'm supposed to do in my life is be authentically me and be fully me and call in all of those pieces of my soul that are me, that left because of whatever kind of event I had happen. And every time I would be more of that, she would step in and hold me back and pull me back because she wasn't ready yet. It wasn't that she was holding me back. It's just that we weren't evolved enough. We weren't conscious enough to be able to handle that, to be able to express that. And it's so important that we express fully who we are and not be ashamed of it. But she wasn't ready to deal with the shame that she felt or to express the shame that she felt. And, people would think that she was crazy. People wouldn't believe her because it was, because she had little memories of it, needed to get to a place of she needed to be ready, and she's ready now. I feel like she's pulling back just a little bit. And it's like that was the only thing that she had enough energy for. I've been working on this for like the last 2 months since I got back, and there's only so much that she can express before she needs to just sit back and rest. And I have been trying to give myself enough time to rest throughout this entire time, but I have judged myself and put so much pressure on myself to, I'm a single mom. I still have to work at the same time, and I just don't have the means to be able to give myself the time and space that is needed to fully really give her everything that she needs and give myself everything that I need. And I gotta work, I gotta pay the bills, and it's almost like I judge that it's coming out now, and in that way, I could never just fully be, but I could also not do anything either. It's gotten to a point where I couldn't even work anymore. I couldn't do anything. I haven't been able to make videos. I haven't been able, I have no clients. I've gotten no money, nothing. And I was supposed to experience all of that. I was supposed to get to that point. I was supposed to get to rock bottom. To have no monetary value around me, to feel the depth of what she felt, to feel that I'm so unworthy. And worth to a lot of people is reflected in money. And I know that when you struggle with money and we don't have any money, it's because it's reflecting how you feel about yourself. And I didn't realize that I felt that way about myself. I didn't realize that she felt that way about herself. It's like she fully immersed me in it. And I needed to get to a point of just complete despair and this feeling of loss and this feeling of unworthiness and not being able to support my children. And in order to really empathically experience the depth of the pain and shame and unworthiness that she felt. She's so brave. She's so brave to have said, okay, now it's time, that she was going to put me in that place and allow me to see her, to really see her, to see her through my intuition and the way that I see things is through my feelings and through the depth of my feminine. She trusts me. She trusts me, and I must trust me. I must trust this, my feelings and my emotions and the way that I experience things. And I'm so proud of her and proud of myself for being able to see all of this and to experience this and to be in the middle of it and to say, I don't have any answers for you. And that I'm going through it. And some days are really great. And some days I'm going to post videos on here that have nothing to do with this and are about our expansion and our empowerment, and this is one of those videos. This is it. There's so much empowerment in accepting yourself exactly where you are and expressing sometimes exactly where you are and just putting yourself out there. I'm having deja vu about it right now. She's having a lot of fear about putting this video out. She's now reeling back and showing me that she has fear in expressing all of this right now. I'm just seeing all of these other things that I don't want to push her past where she's comfortable. And so it may be that I don't post this video right now, or I post it a little bit later. But I feel her fear. I feel her panic. I feel this feeling of being very exposed, and there's like pressure in my chest and this like panic attack that she said too much, or that people are going to judge her or think that she's crazy, or think that I'm crazy. And there's more work that we need to do together to show her that she's safe, to have her trust that that it's okay for her to be afraid, that I feel her and I'm listening to her. And whenever she's ready, whenever we're ready, is when this is going to come out. And that she needs me to just be with her for a little bit. But I'm going to take the time that I need to and receive the guidance and the help that I need to in order to get us through this. Part of this expression is helpful. Just saying it is makes me feel relieved. It does make me feel relieved. It makes her feel scared, but it makes me feel relieved. And so we're going to sit with that. She's used to feeling that fear. It protects her, makes her hiding herself and not being seen is what makes her feel safe. But we've also asked for, she just doesn't want to be alone anymore either. So I'm showing her the way to not feel alone anymore. It's in resonance. And we can't connect with resonance. We can't find that stasis and feel not alone anymore unless we show ourselves. So that's where I need to leave it for now. I want to be able to talk more about this when she's ready. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here and allowing the sacred space for me to be able to express that, and just know that I love you. I'm here for you. I'm here with you. Me working, me doing work, me helping other people is helpful to this process. That me talking through it is so important. And me being of service to other people is how we bring it all back together, and how we all feel just a little bit less alone. Makes me feel just so purposeful, and that my experience is part of my mission. That my experience is healing in itself, just by being it, just by being right here, right now. So I'm here for you too, just as you guys are here for me. I love you.